YouTube, what is going on? My name is Argon. Welcome back to some Fortnite informational, instructional, and conversational type of content. Today, we're going to do another top 5, guys, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Usually we do top 5s, top 10s about stuff that's in the game, weapons, items, you know, pickaxes, that kind of thing. Today we're going to do some stuff that they've done, changes that they've made to the game that have catered to noobs. But before we get into that, guys, I want to remind everybody that, of course, we do a monthly giveaway on this channel now. Stay active in the chat. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and make sure you got the notifications turned on. The more active you are in the comments section, the more active you are on Twitter. Whatever it is, I'll be picking a winner based on whoever's the most active the people that I see the most often that are commenting, being constructive, hanging out, chatting with everybody else. That's going to be the people that win the V-Bucks every month, guys. So we got to make sure you're staying active, and then you'll have a chance to win. Going right into this, guys, the top 5 most noob-friendly changes that have been made to Fortnite Battle Royale. Starting at number 5, we have explosive buffs. Now, these have occurred at various times during the life cycle of Fortnite Battle Royale. They've changed C4s, they've changed RPGs, they've changed grenade launchers. They've done a lot of things more recently. They have actually nerfed the RPGs because they were thinking they were getting a little too spammy. But basically, when you got a weapon that, you know, basically just you throw it and explodes and kills people, it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to aim. You don't have to worry about finding people. You can just spam rockets or grenades and shoot things, and it makes it a lot easier. These things have helped with people that are not as good at shooting and that kind of thing. This is obviously pretty straightforward that they've done this. You know, they've increased the damage radius. They've made it so that things can blow up behind the wall that it was intended. It's just a lot of stuff that they've done that kind of cater to the noob crowd, and for that reason, explosives come in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, guys, we have a friendly fire patch that occurred a long time ago. Many of you guys don't know this because you started playing Fortnite in the last 6 months, but there was a time when friendly fire was not off. When Fortnite Battle Royale first launched, friendly fire was actually on. You could shoot your teammates, you could kill them. It was kind of fun, but it was also really strategic because you couldn't, you know, you had to make sure that whoever was in your way was not a teammate, or else you would have done damage to them. However, back in patch 2.2, back in the middle of January, they did actually disable this. Now, this was meant to combat team killing because there'd be people that would squad up with random squads, random duos, and then they get guys that were just toxic and would just shoot them right off the bat, and that's just annoying. Like, you don't want to see that, obviously. Unfortunately, that crowd ruined it for everybody. I thought that, you know, friendly fire being on made the game a lot more strategic. In fact, it actually devolved the game a little bit because people were able to do several things. One, they could just spam, you know, they could just shoot, spray, and pray. They didn't have to worry about hitting teammates. But the bigger problem was they could throw explosives into a place. Like, so if you're playing squads, you could rush or send your teammates rushing while you throw a bunch of nades in on the opponent's base. It actually kind of started leading to the end of people building bases, but that became a real kind of strategic move that people used to their advantage rather than something that was used to people's disadvantages. So unfortunately, they did disable friendly fire, which I thought should have stayed in the game, but that was happened a long time ago. And in fact, when they did do this during the patch, in the patch notes, they did say this is an exploratory change and subject to change. However, unfortunately, it never did. Here's a little fun fact for you. This same patch that disabled friendly fire was also the same patch that introduced voice chat into the pregame lobby. That's how old this was. Back, like I said, back in the middle of January, within the first 3 months of Fortnite being, you know, an actual battle royale. Coming in at number 3, guys, we have the March building update. Now, this building update occurred in patch 3.0, which was at the start of season 3. A quick summary of that patch, guys. Of course, they did allow for there to be turbo building, which allows you to kind of just hold your trigger or hold your left mouse button and just swipe, and then you can build wherever your finger is pointing or wherever your cursor is pointing. Before, you used to have to keep hitting the trigger over and over every time you wanted to place a structure, so that made building a lot faster, a lot easier. Also, they made it so you could build anywhere. This was a big one. Before that, guys, if you had a car in your way or a tree or a wall of anything that was already there, you couldn't place a structure on it, and that made it really hard to build through a lot of things. Now you can just build through light poles, you can build through cars, you don't have to worry. It's like just a big open spot. So between that and turbo building, it just made it really fast to build a lot. Additionally, they added auto material switching. I know before this patch, I used to have this happen all the time. I'd be running up a ramp, I'd run out of one material, I'd not realize it, not switch, and then just fall down. And if I was lucky, I wouldn't take fall damage, I'd have to start again. However, sometimes you would take fall damage. That was not as important as the other 2 changes with turbo building and being able to build anywhere. What this did, actually, guys, made it easier to build, and that made more average players into much better players. So overall, when you were on the battlefield, you'd run into people that could build a lot better, which just makes every fight a lot harder. So that was definitely something that catered to noobs, because before that, you used to have to really know how to build. You used to have to know where you could and couldn't build. You used to have to be able to build quickly. So it was kind of a trade-off with sensitivities and whatnot. So there's a lot more strategery that was going on. That is definitely not a word, but I use it anyway. But a lot more strategic actions that would occur when it came to building. But after that, it was just like a free-for-all, just everybody'd farm up a ton of materials and just spam, spam, spam. Unfortunately, that made it catered towards the noobs, so it made not as good builders into much better builders. Of course, they have made even more changes since then for console, where you could do Builder Pro. That kind of closed the gap between console building and also, you know, the way PC people build. I did a nice little video on the evolution of building on console back in a few months ago. You could check it out, probably a card popping up on your screen here. It'll show you how building sort of changed and how it kind of evolved to make things a little bit easier for people to build. But honestly, it's gotten way too easy, and that's definitely what's leading into one of the biggest problems here in Fortnite Battle Royale. But either way, guys, the March building update all the way back in patch 3.0, that comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, guys, the most, you know, noob-friendly type of changes that were made to Fortnite Battle Royale, shotgun nerfs. Obviously, you can't have a list like this without talking about shotguns. People complain about getting one shot killed, and unfortunately, the developers caved and they nerfed the shotguns. Back in the day, it used to be where you could hit tons of range, even before they had damage drop off. You could hit attack shotgun. When this game first launched, if you look up gameplay from December or from January, all you really needed was a base tac shotgun and you could melt people. It was fantastic. You could hit shots from, you know, 20 meters away and do 75 damage with a shotgun. Now you won't even register a hit. In addition to that, the more recent nerfs that they did, removing the damage multipliers for headshots and also reducing the overall damage for pumps, they did line up all the shotguns kind of in order of rarity. That kind of, you know, changed the way where if it was a more rare shotgun, it would be more deadly, versus before that it was always a blue pump, which, in case you didn't know, blue pumps used to be green pumps and green pumps used to be gray pumps. That was back in the day where if you picked up a green pump, that was the best gun in the game. But, you know, now it's a remnant of its former self. Shotgun nerfs are definitely something that was meant to cater to noobs because people were complaining about getting one shot killed, and they want to be able to run around with 200 shield, you know, I'm sorry, 100 shield and 100 health and not die. I can kind of understand that, to be honest. I also am on the side of shotguns where if you're shooting and you hit somebody in the head up close, they should die. I think that's how it works with a pump shotgun. A close range headshot is a death every time. It hurts my soul every time I hit with a shotgun and I do 45 damage. Like, it's just so sad. I can't believe it. But either way, guys, shotgun nerfs are considered, for me, the number 2 most noob-friendly change that was made to Fortnite Battle Royale. It should come as no surprise as we head into number 1, ladies and gentlemen. What the most noob-friendly move that was added to Fortnite Battle Royale? It's actually been in the game since day 1. The bush. Yes, the bush. And I'm not talking about the gold bush that you can pick up from supply drops and whatnot, the legendary bush. I'm talking about the regular old bush that's in the game. Ever since the game launched, you've been able to hide in bushes, and this has been the go-to camping spot for every noob since the day they started this game. It is by far the most noob thing that you can do. Obviously, you all know this. If you walk up to a bush, you can crouch and you can hide in it, and nobody will know you're there unless you move or you have a gun stick out. Sometimes you can be spotted. Most of the time, you're not. Of course, there is an issue where if you are using a controller, you get auto aim, so you can use auto aim, but then you'd have to run around ADSing every bush if you're really that suspicious. Many of you who do know Tabor Hill also probably know that he did a video on this a while back on actually how to use a technique where you run up on bushes and do a little quick check just to see if you know, you can see if there's somebody in the bush. He made a video about it. I'm gonna probably put a card up for that. It's a nice little video where he went around and showed kind of the trick that he does, and it's basically using that auto aim feature of your controller in order to actually see enemies while they're in a bush. So it's kind of helpful if you guys are actually gonna use a controller. I can safely say, thankfully, the bushes are not as popular as they used to be, but whoa, for the first 6 months of this game, you couldn't go one game without running into somebody who was in a bush. The way I combated this was I would just run through the bushes. When I would be running around the map, I would make sure if I saw a bush, I would run right through it, because most of the time, people that were hiding in bushes, they weren't actually trying to fight you unless you really landed on top of them. So if I ran through a bush and I hit somebody, then I knew they were there and I could just shoot them. But basically, it was, man, anytime I'd run past a bush and somebody shoots me from it, it was just so annoying. It was unfortunate. But either way, guys, that is definitely the number 1 most noob-friendly thing that they were added, and that was never even added. That was in the game since day 1. But the bush is the number 1 most noob-friendly thing in Fortnite Battle Royale. That's my list of the top 5, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Is there anything that I missed? Is there anything that you think is more noob friendly? I wanted to make this a top 10, but I couldn't think of 10 things, so I got 5 on here. So there's a few on there that I didn't include, but this is my top 5. Like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe. And if you're not following me on social media, those links are going to be down in the description below. And as always, guys, my name is Argon, and may you never die to a bush. Peace.